What archaeologists say, and it still amuses me, of course the Romans did everything. They found they could move 900-ton blocks, but 1,000 tons was too much for them. So they just left them in the quarry. In my view, that's a very un-Roman thing to do. The Romans were very practical people. Okay, let's say they couldn't move 1,000 tons, but having gone to all the work of creating huge megaliths like this, they wouldn't have wasted them. They'd have sliced them up like loaves of bread and used the already shaped blocks in other constructions. The fact that they didn't do that these are still there, suggests to me the whole site was covered during Roman times, and it's only in more recent times that it's been excavated and revealed. This is called the trilithon. Each of these 3 blocks weighs 900 tons. And it's extraordinary the way they're built into a wall and raised 30 feet above the ground like this, a wall the provenance for which has not been established.
I think we're confronted by an enormous mystery with megalithic sites all around the world, and we don't understand them properly. The people who made it knew what they were doing. You don't move around 20-ton megaliths in high relief. You don't do that.
There's no way that's a first try.
No, there's no way that's a first try.
Yeah.
There's obviously a hidden background to that. So I think the dating of quite a number of megalithic sites needs to be reconsidered.
Korea, a land steeped in history and shrouded in mystery, holds a secret that has baffled archaeologists and historians for centuries. Scattered across its rugged landscape are thousands of megalithic structures known as dolmens, silent sentinels from a forgotten era. Were these massive stone structures merely tombs for the elite, as some scholars suggest? Or do they whisper of a time when giants roamed the earth, leaving their colossal mark on the very stones themselves? Let's explore the mysterious world of Korean dolmens, where myth and reality intertwine, and uncover the truth behind these ancient wonders.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
The Korean dolmens, mysterious and monumental, have always held a place of reverence within local folklore. Ancient populations in Korea viewed these structures not only as significant landmarks, but also as sacred sites possibly built by giants or legendary heroes, as hinted in ancient myths. This deep-seated cultural recognition has meant that the discovery of dolmens by Koreans themselves is not documented as such. It is woven into the fabric of their history and mythology.
Ancient cultures all around the world preserved a memory of a high civilization, of prehistory.
Systematic documentation of these megalithic structures began during a tumultuous period in Korea's history, the Japanese occupation from 1910 to 1945. During this time, Japanese archaeologists, including notable researchers like Sekino Tadashi, embarked on the first formal studies of the dolmens. Their aim was part of a larger effort to catalogue and understand the peninsula's prehistoric landscape, which inadvertently involved imposing control over Korea's cultural heritage. These early 20th century surveys marked the first time the dolmens were mapped and described in detail, shifting their perception from elements of folklore to subjects of archaeological and historical importance. Post the Korean War, as South Korea focused on rebuilding its national identity, there was a resurgence of interest in preserving the country's rich cultural heritage. This renewed interest paved the way for more localized and intensive studies of the dolmens. By the late 20th century, Korean archaeologists had started employing modern techniques such as radiocarbon dating, detailed site excavations, and even advanced technologies like 3D scanning and GIS systems. These tools allowed for a more precise understanding of the dolmen's age, construction methods, and their original use, enriching the appreciation of these ancient structures.
This is not something that everybody knows. Carbon dating can only date organic material. It can't date stone.
The turn of the millennium brought international recognition to this fascinating aspect of Korean heritage when several dolmen sites were designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. This prestigious status underscores the significant archaeological value of the dolmens and highlights their importance in understanding the prehistoric era on the Korean peninsula.
Our understanding of prehistory must change.
This recognition not only boosts preservation efforts but also fosters global appreciation for Korea's ancient monumental wonders. Building on the historical significance of the Korean dolmens, Let's delve into the remarkable engineering skills that these ancient societies showcased through their construction. The transportation and assembly of these massive stone structures present a fascinating study of prehistoric engineering. The stones used in the construction of dolmens were often colossal, sometimes weighing several tons. Moving such heavy stones over long distances was a formidable challenge that required ingenious solutions. It is believed that the ancient builders used logs as rollers under the stones, a technique known as log rolling. This method significantly reduced friction, enabling human or animal power to transport these massive stones efficiently. This technique bears a striking resemblance to those used for constructing Stonehenge in England and the moai statues of Easter Island, where similar log-based systems were employed to maneuver large stones across rugged terrains. Upon reaching the construction site, the next hurdle was lifting and positioning these heavy stones accurately. Earth ramps made from piled soil and stones likely facilitated the elevation of these stones to their desired height. Alongside these ramps, levers and simple wooden frameworks would have been used to hoist the stones into position. The use of levers provided a mechanical advantage that allowed smaller groups to perform these monumental tasks, showcasing not only technical knowledge but also effective teamwork and resource management. The choice of stone was crucial for ensuring the durability and structural integrity of the dolmens. Granite, commonly used in these structures, was favored for its hardness and resistance to weathering, which speaks volumes about the ancient builders' understanding of material properties. The quarrying of these stones was a meticulous process that involved using harder stone tools, possibly made from basalt or even metal tools in later periods. The labor-intensive chipping away at rock beds to extract usable blocks required precision and planning. After quarrying, the stones were carefully shaped and smoothed to ensure a perfect fit in the construction. This involved not only large-scale shaping to create flat surfaces for the capstones, but also more detailed, finer work to guarantee the structural stability of the dolmen. The final smoothing of the stones might have been achieved through abrasion techniques, using sand or smaller stones to grind down the stone surfaces, ensuring that each piece would fit together seamlessly in the final structure. The strategic placement and precise alignment of these structures highlight a sophisticated knowledge of astronomy and engineering.
We think it makes more sense. Take the geology, take the astronomy. This monument has its origins 12,000 years ago.
The dolmens were not simply erected in random locations, but were carefully placed to align with specific astronomical events, such as the solstices. This alignment suggests that the dolmens served dual purposes, not only as tombs but also as astronomical observatories. The precision required for such alignment indicates that the builders possessed an advanced understanding of astronomy and geometry, which is quite remarkable for any prehistoric society. The installation process of the dolmens also reflects an in-depth understanding of structural stability. The foundation pits for the upright supporting stones were dug deep into the ground, ensuring a secure base capable of supporting the massive weight of the capstone. This indicates a grasp of soil mechanics that was well ahead of its time. Furthermore, the upright stones were often positioned at a slight inward angle, a strategic choice that enhanced the stability of the structure by evenly distributing the weight of the capstone and improving the overall durability of the dolmen. When we compare these construction techniques with those used in ancient Egypt, we find interesting parallels and contrasts. Like the builders of the Egyptian pyramids, the creators of the Korean dolmens utilized ramps and levers to move and position large stones. However, the purposes and accessibility of these structures were quite different. While the Egyptian pyramids were primarily built supposedly as tombs for the pharaohs and the elite, signifying a hierarchical society, the Korean dolmens were more universally used across different strata of society. This thoughtful approach to the construction and placement of dolmens not only ensured their longevity, but also imbued them with significant astronomical value, making them an integral part of Korea's historical landscape. The dolmen sites in Korea not only offer a window into the Neolithic and Bronze Age periods of the region, but also demonstrate the advanced prehistoric engineering skills and deep-seated cultural traditions of their builders. The impressive size and weight of the stones used in these structures speak volumes about the sophistication of ancient construction techniques, a sophistication paralleled by few other ancient structures worldwide. These stones can measure anywhere from 1 to 7 meters in length and often exceed a meter in thickness. The variation in size across different sites suggests a diversity in burial practices and social hierarchies. Moreover, some dolmens may have served purposes beyond burials, perhaps as markers of territorial boundaries or as sites for ritualistic activities. The logistical challenges of moving and positioning such massive stones were formidable. Transporting these immense weights from quarry sites to their final locations required not only significant physical effort, but also intricate planning and the cooperation of entire communities. When we compare these engineering feats with the megalithic temples of Malta, we see similarities and differences in construction techniques that reflect each culture's unique approach to megalithic structures. Both the Korean dolmens and the Maltese temples highlight an advanced understanding of construction techniques from similar eras. However, while Korean dolmens typically feature simpler structural designs with a focus on vertical and horizontal stone placement, the Maltese temples boast more complex architectural elements like intricate floor plans and decorative facades. This fascinating comparison underscores how different cultures adapted their megalithic construction techniques to fit their local traditions and available resources, creating enduring monuments that continue to awe and inspire.
It was the consensus of archaeologists that no megalithic architecture had been found anywhere in the world that was more than 6,000 years old. They said, show us another culture that's 12,000 years old anywhere in the world, and we might listen to you. Evidence from much earlier megalithic construction is hiding in plain view. Our understanding of prehistory must change.
Nestled near Nanjing, the Yangshan Quarry stands as a monument to human ambition and ancient mystery. Here, amidst the dust and echoes of history, lies the colossal, unfinished stele, intended to honor a Ming dynasty emperor. Why would humans embark on such a grand project, knowing the immense challenge of moving it, and then mysteriously abandon it?
If you wish to pass information to a distant future, if you wish it to be preserved, you wouldn't be smart to just write it down.
This mystery not only captivates the imagination, but also invites us to explore the profound complexities of engineering, royal ambition, and perhaps the supernatural influences that shape our endeavors. The Yangshan Quarry is an archaeological site of great historical importance, mainly due to its ambitious yet unfinished project initiated by the Yongle Emperor. This project aimed to create a colossal stele to commemorate his father, the Hongwu Emperor, the founder of the Ming dynasty.
I think their project was to honor and memorialize it. Is knowledge preserved and passed down through the ages? Yes, I think it is.
The Yongle Emperor, who reigned from 1402 to 1424, is celebrated for his significant architectural and cultural achievements, which included not only the construction of the Forbidden City, but also this immense stele project. This act was intended not merely as a show of familial respect, but also to legitimize his rule and link his achievements to those of the dynasty's founder, thus enhancing the continuity and legitimacy of his own reign. The construction of such a monument also served as a display of imperial power and the advanced capabilities of Ming dynasty engineering.
That is one of the mistakes in looking for a quote-unquote advanced civilization in the past, is that we tend to be looking for ourselves.
From an architectural standpoint, the primary goal of the Yangshan Quarry was to extract stone of an unprecedented size and scale. The stele for the Hongwu Emperor was to be the largest of its kind ever created, a symbol of the immense power and enduring legacy of the Ming dynasty. This ambitious project required vast resources and a workforce capable of overcoming the logistical challenges posed by the stone's enormous dimensions. In Imperial China, erecting steles was a deeply cultural act, often associated with honoring divine or royal entities. The project commissioned by the Yongle Emperor linked him with the divine mandate, ascribing almost celestial reverence to his ancestors and himself, thus reinforcing his rule as divinely sanctioned. The design and craftsmanship of the stele were planned to be magnificent. The project was to be composed of 3 grand pieces. The base, intended to support the enormous weight of the stele and act as both a physical and symbolic foundation. The body, which was to be intricately engraved with inscriptions praising the Hongwu Emperor and detailing his accomplishments and virtues. And the crown, planned to be elaborately decorated with dragon motifs or other imperial symbols, signifying the celestial authority of the emperor. The dimensions of the stele were also staggering. The body of the stele itself was planned to exceed 30 meters in length, 13 meters wide and 10 meters thick. Weighing approximately 16,250 metric tons, this stone would have been one of the largest ever carved by human hands, comparable in weight to about 2,500 adult African elephants. To appreciate the scale further, the length of the stele's body was almost as long as the wingspan of a Boeing 747 airplane, underscoring not only its immense size, but also the bold engineering ambitions of the Ming dynasty, mirroring the monumental constructions of other ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and Romans.
But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy.
The ambitious project at Yangshan Quarry, designed to immortalize the Yongle Emperor's father, faced insurmountable challenges after the emperor's death. The primary issue was the logistical nightmare of transporting the immense stone 10 kilometers to the Ming Shaolin mausoleum. Despite having a large labor force and advanced engineering techniques of the era, the task proved beyond the capabilities of the period's transportation technologies, leading to the project's abandonment. In the course of studying the quarry, archaeologists have unearthed a diverse arsenal of traditional tools that were used to work these massive stones. Chisels, hammers and levers crafted from iron were employed in a meticulously organized manner to extract and precisely shape the gargantuan stones. The innovative methods employed by the workers were particularly ingenious. One such method, known as fire setting, involved heating the rock surface with fire and then dousing it with cold water. This sudden temperature change caused the rock to undergo thermal shock, resulting in cracks that made it easier to shape and remove the stone. The layout of the Yangshan Quarry also provides insights into the organization of labor and resources during that time. Large teams of workers were coordinated in a highly structured approach, possibly under the direct supervision of imperial engineers. This meticulous organization was essential for executing such a monumental project, demonstrating the sophisticated management practices of the Ming dynasty in handling large-scale constructions. This coordination not only facilitated the quarrying process but also ensured that each phase of the work was completed as efficiently as possible, despite the eventual abandonment of the project due to logistical challenges. While the organizational prowess at Yangshan Quarry was impressive, the technological innovations possibly used there truly showcased the brilliance of ancient Chinese engineering. The enormous stones at the quarry, some of the largest ever quarried in human history, display a level of precision in cutting and shaping that suggests the use of extremely advanced techniques. Historians and archaeologists have long speculated that the ancient Chinese engineers might have utilized now-lost techniques that facilitated their monumental tasks. These could have included specialized cutting tools, measurement systems for exact angles and flat surfaces, and unique methods for splitting stone from rock beds without causing it to crack entirely. The precision with which these stones were quarried and shaped suggests a sophisticated integration of various fields of knowledge, including geometry, physics, and materials science, indicating a highly developed technological culture.
I believe that it's worth considering the possibility of a remote common ancestor, which passed down key information that was inherited by later cultures.
Drawing parallels with Roman engineering, we see that Roman engineers also revolutionized construction with the development of hydraulic cement and the extensive use of arches, vaults, and domes, which allowed them to build enduring structures like the Pantheon and the aqueducts. They were masters at utilizing available resources and adapting their engineering solutions to the diverse conditions of their vast empire. Similarly, the engineers at Yangshan may have developed their own unique methods to manage the quarrying of such massive stones. This might have involved the use of intricate lever systems designed to maximize mechanical advantage, or even early forms of cranes which could have been powered by large human teams or possibly by animals. Both civilizations demonstrated an understanding of leverage and load distribution. For instance, Roman cranes and capstans were used for lifting heavy weights, while similar principles could have been applied in Yangshan for moving large stone blocks. Additional techniques hypothesized to be used at Yangshan include the strategic use of water to aid in the transport of these massive stones. By creating a series of canals and using buoyancy, the engineers could have significantly reduced the effective weight of the stones, making them easier to maneuver over large distances. Seasonal adjustments might also have played a role in the timing of the quarry work. Engineers might have taken advantage of frozen ground during the winter to move heavy stones more easily, a technique evidenced in other historical contexts such as the transport of large stones for the construction of medieval cathedrals in Europe. Moreover, the durability and flexibility of bamboo, widely available in China, would have made it particularly useful for creating temporary frameworks and scaffolding, demonstrating the ingenious solutions employed to tackle the challenges of such a monumental project. While exploring the technological aspects of the Yangshan Quarry project is fascinating, the supernatural narratives surrounding its abandonment offer an equally intriguing dimension. In traditional Chinese culture, the spiritual world is deeply intertwined with the physical realm, and many construction projects from ancient times are wrapped in tales of omens and divine messages. Local legends from Yangshan suggest that the massive Stele project was halted by supernatural forces. These stories recount strange and ominous signs that appeared during the quarrying process, which local workers and officials interpreted as warnings from the heavens. These warnings supposedly dissuaded them from continuing the project for fear of invoking disaster or bad luck. Such tales might be more than mere superstitions. They could represent symbolic expressions of the workers' fears and the practical difficulties they faced, projected onto supernatural explanations.
The view of our planet, I think, is incredible. And the first time you actually see the Earth, it's amazing. The planet is incredibly bright. It is much more bright than you would think it is, and it fills your whole vision. So you can see continents go by, and they're very, very bright. I would be incredibly thrilled to be part of anything that involves getting on a rocket and leaving the planet again.
Imagine gazing down at Earth from the vastness of space and spotting a man-made structure so immense it rivals the visibility of natural landmarks.
Evidence from much earlier megalithic construction is hiding in plain view.
This feat of human engineering, akin to the iconic Great Wall of China, isn't just a testament to our ancestors' ingenuity. It's a modern marvel that can be seen from the space above.
I think we're looking at hints and clues that something is missing in our story.
What is this colossal structure? Stick around and find out while we explore first the mystery behind the massive wall in China. The Great Wall of China is a profound legacy left by various dynasties that shaped its path through history. The earliest records of what would become the iconic Great Wall trace back to the Eastern Zhou dynasty, which documented attempts to fortify the northern borders against invaders. With the rise of the Qin dynasty around 221 BC, significant strides were made in wall construction under the reign of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He initiated the unification of various regional walls, which were initially built with tamped earth and local materials, creating a consolidated defense system against northern threats. This set the foundation for the extensive expansions that would follow. As the baton passed to the Han dynasty, they took the construction of the wall a step further into Mongolia. This was primarily to protect the Silk Road, which was vital for trade and strategic movements. During this era, materials like reeds and willow branches were incorporated into the layers of earth, showcasing an innovative utilization of available resources to strengthen the fortifications.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
The adaptability and durability of these materials played a crucial role in the longevity of the wall. However, it was during the Ming dynasty, post-Mongol invasions, that the Great Wall saw its most definitive reconstruction. The Ming era not only reinforced the wall using stones and bricks, but also introduced sophisticated architectural features such as battlements, watchtowers, garrison stations, and troop barracks. This period is responsible for much of what is today recognized as the Great Wall, symbolizing the pinnacle of defensive architecture developed over centuries. The Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian offers a rich historical account of these developments. His writings provide invaluable insights into the construction processes, the strategic imperatives, and notably, the harsh and often brutal conditions faced by the laborers involved. This documentation highlights the immense human effort and the significant costs endured during the wall's early phases, painting a vivid picture of ancient Chinese society and its unyielding drive to protect and prosper. Continuing from the historical accounts, the 20th century marked a significant era for the Great Wall of China as systematic archaeological studies began to unravel its mysteries further. Teams from China and around the world embarked on meticulous research, unearthing a variety of artifacts and materials. These findings have been pivotal in dating different segments of the wall and shedding light on the diverse construction methods employed over the centuries. The archaeological excavations revealed that the choice of construction materials varied significantly across different regions of the wall. For instance, in the rugged northern terrains, granite was predominantly used, reflecting its local abundance and durability. Conversely, in the flatter plains, builders commonly used rammed earth. This technique involved compacting layers of earth, known locally as hangtu, which was both economical and readily available. The flexibility in material choice highlighted an adaptive construction strategy tailored to the varying geographic and resource conditions across the vast stretches of the wall. Moreover, the early segments of the Great Wall were not just simple earthworks. To enhance structural integrity and resist erosion, wooden frameworks were integrated within these earthen walls. However, in stone-rich areas, large stones were not only used as foundational bases, but also served as primary building blocks for much of the construction. Wood played a crucial role too, especially in constructing gates, towers, and for reinforcing sections of the wall, although it was more vulnerable to decay and fire. As we delve further into the advancements in construction materials and techniques used for the Great Wall, the Ming dynasty emerges as a period of significant evolution. During this era, the use of bricks and stone slabs became prevalent, enhancing the wall's durability and resistance to weather conditions. The uniform size and shape of the bricks simplified the construction process, as they were easier to handle and lay compared to the irregular stones used previously. This uniformity not only sped up construction, but also contributed to the overall structural integrity of the wall. Recognizing the massive requirement for these materials, builders strategically established kilns close to the construction sites. This was a practical solution to the logistical challenge of transporting heavy materials across vast distances. It's estimated that these kilns churned out hundreds of millions, possibly even billions of bricks throughout the dynasty, each one contributing to the grandeur of the wall.
There are unexplained issues in our past,
Right.
which are presently not explained by the system that teaches us about the past.
One of the most fascinating advancements was the introduction of sticky rice mortar. This innovative material came about during the Ming dynasty, when builders began mixing a paste made from sticky rice with lime. The result was a mortar that not only held bricks together more effectively, but also offered enhanced water resistance and strength. This organic-inorganic composite was revolutionary, making the wall far more durable than many might have anticipated. Recent studies have underscored the effectiveness of this mortar, revealing its unique ability to withstand significant pressure and resist aging, which is why many sections of the wall still stand robustly today. Building the Great Wall of China was not just a monumental architectural achievement, but also a colossal human endeavor. The workforce required to construct such an extensive structure included millions of individuals over the centuries: soldiers, peasants, convicts, and even intellectuals who had fallen out of favor with those in power. These laborers were mobilized across various dynasties, each contributing to different sections and aspects of the wall's construction. The conditions these workers faced were incredibly harsh. Minimal supplies, brutal climates, and grueling physical labor were the norms. Many laborers did not survive the harsh winters, suffering from exhaustion and malnutrition. Historical records even suggest that some of the deceased were buried within the wall itself, which has led to the legend of the wall being referred to as the world's largest graveyard. Shifting our focus from the ancient architectural feats to a modern marvel of engineering, this structure known as the Bingham Canyon Mine, also known as the Kennecott Copper Mine, presents another extraordinary example of human ingenuity that can be seen from the heights of space. Located in the Oquirrh Mountains southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah, this mine has been a beacon of industrial achievement since its inception in 1906. The origins of the mine trace back to 1898, when it was first developed by Enos Andrew Wall, who formed the Boston Consolidated Mining Company. The landscape of the mine changed dramatically in 1910 when it was acquired by the Kennecott Copper Corporation, marking the beginning of large-scale operations that have continued to this day. This makes it not only one of the oldest, but also one of the most productive mines in the United States. Bingham Canyon is primarily an open pit mine, a type of mining operation that involves digging out large open pits to access ore deposits below the surface. This method has seen several technological advancements at the mine, notably the first use of large-scale electric shovels in 1926 and the introduction of haul trucks in 1937, which revolutionized the way materials were moved within the mine. Over the years, the mine has produced more copper than any other mine in the world, totaling over 20 million tons. But copper isn't the only resource extracted here. Significant amounts of gold, silver, and molybdenum have also been produced, contributing to its status as a cornerstone of global mining. The impact of the mine extends beyond just production. The excavation has provided geologists with a detailed cross-section of the Earth's crust, offering invaluable insights into geological strata and ore deposit formations. This has been a boon for the field of economic geology, enhancing our understanding of the natural processes that shape our planet. Another intriguing aspect of the mine is its influence on aircraft navigation. The sheer size of the excavation has disturbed the local gravitational field to the extent that compass readings can become erratic for pilots flying overhead. This massive pit has literally reshaped the landscape and the magnetic field surrounding it. Speaking of size, the Bingham Canyon mine is enormous. At its widest point, it spans about 2.5 miles and reaches depths of more than 3/4 of a mile. To put that into perspective, the pit is so large that two of the world's tallest buildings, the Burj Khalifa, could lay end to end at its base and still be dwarfed by the scale of the excavation.
It was the view, very firm view of archaeologists, that there had been no megalithic architecture. And when I say megalithic, I mean literally big stones, stone circles, huge constructions, nothing like that before 6,000 years ago. Central to my work was the notion of a global cataclysm, roughly 12,500, 12,800 years ago. They are not saying that it also wiped out a lost advanced civilization of prehistory. I'm saying that.
In the heart of Lebanon's Bekaa Valley lies an ancient wonder that defies the sands of time, the Baalbek temple complex.
This is Baalbek in the Lebanon. Each of these 3 blocks weighs 900 tons.
Home to some of the largest and most mysterious stone blocks ever used in construction, these colossal remnants of the Roman Empire's grandeur weigh as much as 1,650 tons each, more than an entire fleet of blue whales. How these stones were transported and precisely set into place remains one of history's most captivating puzzles.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level.
Join us as we delve into the enigmatic world of Baalbek, where ancient engineering meets modern curiosity, challenging everything we thought we knew about human ingenuity.
A Roman site for sure, but what about this bizarre enclosure wall that surrounds it?
Nestled in the fertile Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, the ancient site of Baalbek is a testament to architectural and cultural grandeur spanning thousands of years. Known as Heliopolis during the Hellenistic period, Baalbek's journey began as a modest Phoenician town named Baalath, dedicated to the worship of Baal, a god associated with the sun and storms, pivotal to the agricultural rituals of its people. The transformation of Baalbek accelerated following its conquest by Alexander the Great in 334 BC. Under Alexander, the city absorbed Greek cultural and architectural elements, emblematic of his broader strategy to fuse Greek and local traditions across the regions he conquered. This Hellenistic influence set the stage for Baalbek's later architectural evolution under the Romans, who saw the city's strategic and religious potential.
What archaeologists say, they found they could move 900-ton blocks, but 1,000 tons was too much for them.
Roman architects and engineers embarked on an ambitious construction agenda in the 1st century BC, which saw Baalbek grow into a grand ceremonial center. The centerpiece was the Temple of Jupiter, one of the largest temples in the Roman Empire, featuring 54 massive granite columns, each standing 70 feet tall. Today, only 6 of these majestic columns remain, but they continue to dominate the landscape, offering a window into what was an architectural marvel of the ancient world. Nearby, the Temple of Bacchus stands as a testament to Roman decorative art and architectural detail, with its well-preserved carvings depicting mythological scenes and festivities. Not far from these, the Temple of Venus showcases a unique circular design, breaking from traditional Roman architectural norms and highlighting a syncretic blend of Roman and local religious practices. Baalbek's construction feats, especially the transportation and placement of massive limestone blocks, draw parallels with other ancient marvels like the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge, showcasing the Romans' advanced engineering techniques.
Look at the famous King's Chamber. Its walls and its ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic blocks.
The site was not just an architectural statement, but also a cultural hub, attracting pilgrims and spectators from across the empire to its religious festivals and games, blending Roman and local traditions in grand displays of public celebration. In comparison to other monumental Roman sites like the Pantheon in Rome, Baalbek stands out for its scale and the complexity involved in erecting such gigantic structures far from the Roman heartland. The Pantheon, with its massive dome and oculus, reflects similar ambitions in Roman architectural prowess, but in a vastly different urban setting. Both sites, however, illustrate the Roman Empire's architectural ambition and its ability to mobilize resources and technology across its vast territories. The stone blocks of Baalbek, particularly within the Temple of Jupiter complex, represent some of the most astonishing elements of ancient architecture found anywhere in the world. These massive stones serve as a testament to the extraordinary engineering prowess of their builders. Their construction techniques and capabilities continue to spark both fascination and scholarly debate. At the heart of the complex sits the Trilithon, a trio of stone blocks that form the podium of the Temple of Jupiter. Each stone measures roughly 64 feet in length, 13 feet in height, and 14 feet in width, and weighs about 800 tons. The precision with which these gigantic stones are fitted together, without any mortar, is truly remarkable. Such an engineering feat required not only advanced planning and ample resources, but also the ingenious use of simple machines like levers and inclined planes, combined with significant human and mechanical effort. Just about 900 meters from the main temple complex, in a nearby quarry, lies the Stone of the Pregnant Woman.
The quarry contains a number of very large blocks that were never transported.
This monolith, approximately 69 feet long and weighing around 1,000 tons, has never been moved from where it was originally cut. The stone's name comes from a local legend suggesting that touching the stone can ensure a safe and easy delivery for pregnant women, highlighting the cultural and superstitious significance these ancient stones hold within local folklore. In 2014, an even larger stone was unearthed in the same quarry.
Why only recently excavated? Because the whole site was covered in sedimentation.
At 64 feet in length and estimated to weigh about 1,650 tons, it stands as the largest known stone ever carved by human hands. This discovery significantly expanded our understanding of the capabilities of ancient engineers and their technological advancements. Comparing these megalithic stones to other ancient wonders provides further context to their impressive nature. For instance, while Stonehenge in England is renowned for its circular arrangement of standing stones, the largest of these stones weighs merely about 30 tons, far less than the massive blocks of Baalbek. The construction of Stonehenge involved transporting stones over long distances, presenting a different type of logistical challenge and ingenuity. However, the sheer scale and weight of the Baalbek stones showcase an unparalleled architectural ambition in the ancient world. Similarly, when we consider the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, the limestone blocks typically weigh between 2 to 15 tons, with the largest granite stones in the King's Chamber weighing between 25 to 80 tons.
Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do, but when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all.
The stones of Baalbek far exceed these in size, highlighting the unique challenges and skills required for their transport and placement. Unlike the primarily tomb-like structures of the Giza pyramids, Baalbek's temples served ceremonial and religious functions, indicating diverse uses of massive stones across ancient civilizations. This comparison not only illustrates the monumental scale of Baalbek's construction, but also underscores the diverse architectural and cultural expressions of ancient societies. The Baalbek temple complex, with its colossal stone blocks, stands as one of the greatest engineering achievements of the ancient world. The tasks involved in constructing this monumental site weren't just about brute strength. They required meticulous planning, advanced organizational skills, and a deep understanding of physics and engineering principles. These elements combined challenge our modern perceptions of ancient technology and showcase the ingenuity of our ancestors. The architectural grandeur of Baalbek was no accident. It reflected the Roman Empire's immense ambition and its desire to display power and divine favor. The sheer scale of the temples served multiple purposes, both religious and political, reinforcing the might of Rome and the sanctity of the location. This complex was designed to awe and affirm the presence of Roman authority in the region. The transportation of the massive stones is believed to have been primarily conducted using rollers made from large tree trunks, with the stones themselves placed on sledges. These sledges, acting as platforms, helped distribute the weight of the stones and prevented the rollers from sinking into the ground. Historical texts even mention the use of olive oil as a lubricant on the paths, a technique that significantly reduced friction, making it easier to move these enormous weights over considerable distances. The placement of these giant stones remains a subject of debate among historians. Techniques such as the use of wooden cranes, which were similar to those used in medieval constructions, likely played a role. These cranes, utilizing ropes, pulleys, and possibly treadwheels, would have amplified the force exerted by humans or animals. Another plausible technique involved constructing large earth ramps, which would have provided a gradual incline to drag the stones into their precise positions. Lever systems, employing long wooden beams to lift and position stones, might have also been used, requiring less material than ramps, but a greater understanding of leverage mechanics. Drawing parallels, the construction techniques theorized for Baalbek closely resemble those hypothesized for the building of the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the Pyramid of Giza. Like Baalbek, the transportation of the pyramid stones likely involved sledges and possibly rollers, with the use of water as a lubricant depicted in ancient Egyptian wall paintings. For lifting, the Egyptians are believed to have utilized a combination of ramps and lever systems. Constructed over a millennium before Baalbek, the pyramids highlight a continuity in complex engineering techniques that span cultures and ages, underscoring a shared architectural heritage in the ancient world. This shared legacy speaks volumes about the ingenuity embedded in ancient construction practices, linking disparate cultures through their monumental achievements.
Japan is a megalithic culture. Many of the megaliths in Japan have never really been properly studied. This doesn't happen naturally. This is a man-made structure. Unless there's any doubt that it's man-made, let's get up close and look at it. It's made of individual blocks of stone. Having gone to all the work of creating huge megaliths like this, they wouldn't have wasted them.
Imagine standing before a vast network of subterranean caverns, extending thousands of square meters deep into the earth, carved from the unique volcanic tuff known as Oya stone. When these caverns at the Oya stone quarry in Utsunomiya were first created, it seemed nearly impossible for humans of that era to shape such an immense and complex structure, yet somehow they did, with nothing more than rudimentary tools and sheer human effort.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
Did this really happen? Or was there more at play here than meets the eye? Fast forward to today, and despite our advanced technology and engineering prowess, replicating such a feat remains a formidable challenge. This marvel of both natural formation and human endeavor invites us to explore its depths, uncovering the secrets held within its echoing chambers and imposing walls.
I think we're confronted by an enormous mystery with megalithic sites all around the world, and we don't understand them properly.
The Oya stone quarry, with its deep historical roots in Japan's architectural landscape, offers a fascinating glimpse into the evolution from localized resource extraction to significant industrial use. The exact discovery date of the quarry isn't well documented, but evidence suggests that small-scale extraction of Oya stone began around the Heian period.
I think the dating of quite a number of megalithic sites needs to be reconsidered.
It quickly became popular for its unique properties, particularly its ease of carving when freshly quarried, which made it ideal for constructing religious structures like temples and shrines, as well as for creating detailed statues for these sites. As we move into the Edo period, the role of Oya stone expanded dramatically. This was a time of relative peace under the Tokugawa shogunate, marked by urbanization and the burgeoning need for more durable building materials. Oya stone, known for its enhanced fire resistance, became a critical resource in constructing robust, fire-resistant walls, particularly in Edo, modern-day Tokyo, which was prone to frequent fires.
Wildfires are what you expect when you have a bit of a comet air bursting up above you.
The quarry's activities intensified with technological advancements in mining, such as the introduction of better chiseling tools and more systematic methods for removing large stone blocks. The expansion of cities during this period necessitated large quantities of durable materials, and Oya stone was extensively used not just for building walls, but also for bridges and other infrastructure projects that required materials that could withstand both the elements and the threat of fire. As demand surged, the shogunate implemented stricter regulations to manage the quarry operations effectively, ensuring the extraction rates were sustainable and that the stone remained available for future generations. When we compare Oya stone with European limestone, which was used for similar purposes, we notice both materials share the property of hardening over time, which is ideal for constructions meant to endure. However, while limestone in Europe was often chosen for both its practical and aesthetic qualities, Oya stone's use in Japan was deeply intertwined with the country's cultural and religious practices, reflecting a unique blend of utilitarian and spiritual values. This distinction highlights not only the functional importance of Oya stone, but also its role in shaping the cultural heritage of Japan. The Oya stone quarry is celebrated for its production of Oya stone, a unique type of green, tough volcanic rock. Known for its distinctive qualities, this stone has been a cornerstone in Japanese architecture and art for centuries. Let's dive deep into its rich historical tapestry and uncover some fascinating details along with a compelling theory. Tracing back to around 800 AD during the early Heian period, the operations at the Oya stone quarry began in an era marked by the consolidation of power in the Japanese imperial court and a cultural boom influenced heavily by the Chinese Tang dynasty aesthetics. Initially, Oya stone was primarily used for constructing the foundations and lower structures of buildings in local villages, largely because of its accessibility and the ease with which it could be carved when freshly quarried. What makes Oya stone particularly intriguing is its unique physical property. It is relatively soft when first quarried, but hardens upon exposure to air. This feature allowed ancient builders to initially carve it with ease, and as it hardened, it would transform into a durable structural element. Not only did its warm beige to light grey hues and porous texture enhance the natural aesthetics of traditional Japanese buildings, but it also provided excellent insulation properties. As the Heian period progressed, the cultural center of Japan shifted to Kyoto, increasing the architectural demand for Oya stone, possibly spurred by its fire-resistant properties, an essential feature in an era prone to wooden structure fires. By the late Heian period, the stone's reach extended beyond local regions, finding its way into more significant and prestigious construction projects across Japan, such as temples, shrines, and statues.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
Ancient texts often highlight its use in substantial state-sponsored construction projects, suggesting a growing importance in the architectural landscape of the time. The rising demand for Oya stone led to a significant expansion of the quarry operations. Quarrying techniques evolved from simple manual methods to more organized mining activities involving larger labor forces. This expansion not only catered to the increasing architectural demands, but also became a focal point for local economic development, providing numerous jobs and contributing to the growth of surrounding communities. An intriguing theory about the Oya stone quarry is that it was discovered and initially developed under the auspices of the imperial family of Japan. This theory suggests that the imperial family might have used the quarry to demonstrate their divine right to rule by constructing temples and palaces with this unique stone.
Ancient cultures all around the world preserved a memory of a high civilization.
The frequent use of Oya stone in imperial and noble projects during the Heian period supports this theory. The distinctiveness of the stone and the grandeur it imparted to buildings would have symbolized the celestial and exalted status of the emperor, aligning perfectly with the imperial ambitions of the time. This fascinating hypothesis adds an additional layer of historical and cultural significance to the already rich narrative of the Oya stone quarry. Nestled in Utsunomiya, Tochigi Prefecture, the Oya stone quarry offers more than just a peek into the world of mining. It presents a fascinating interplay of geology, history, and acoustics. Let's delve into the intriguing details of its underground caverns, their extensive history, and unique characteristics. Spanning an impressive 20,000 square meters, these caverns form a vast subterranean network that has been shaped over centuries. In some areas, they plunge as deep as 60 meters, equivalent to a 20-story building. This vast and varied landscape not only offers a glimpse into the Earth's depths, but also tells the tale of its past through the very walls that form it. Etched with the marks of pickaxes and chisels, the cavern walls narrate the history of mining techniques that evolved through the ages. Occasionally, miners have left behind tools and artifacts, which have been preserved and are now part of the quarry's historical tapestry. The caverns also display an array of natural and man-made formations, from varied color strains and vein patterns to different mineral compositions, each adding a layer to the story of the region's geological history. Beyond their historical and visual appeal, these caverns are known for their exceptional acoustic properties. The porosity and density of the Oya stone allow for sound to be absorbed and dampened, creating an environment with minimal echo and clear sound quality. Drawing a comparison to the ancient underground cities of Cappadocia in Turkey, both carved directly into volcanic rock, highlights interesting contrasts. While Oya's caverns were primarily used industrially for mining, Cappadocia's were designed for habitation and protection, equipped with living quarters, churches, and even ventilation shafts. An intriguing theory about the Oya stone quarry suggests that its extensive network and depth could have offered strategic military advantages during historical conflicts. The caverns, with their complexity and depth, might have served as excellent hiding spots or secret passages, a theory supported by Japan's historical use of landscape features in military strategy. Moreover, the Oya stone quarry has caught the eye of the film and television industry due to its dramatic and otherworldly ambience. For instance, Martin Scorsese's Silence used the haunting backdrop of the caverns to portray the rugged landscapes of 17th century Japan, enhancing the grim atmosphere of the story. While not actually filmed at the quarry, the scenes within the fortress-like environments of Inception evoke a similar monumental scale and maze-like interiors that one can associate with the Oya stone quarry's vast network.
This is our planet, beautiful planet from a Russian satellite as it looks today, but it hasn't always looked like that. How can we possibly get to grips with our past if we don't take account of the fact that we've lost 10 million square miles of the record?
The discovery of Easter Island by European explorers is a story filled with intrigue and remarkable historical details. It was the Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen who first came upon Easter Island on a quest for the mythic southern continent. His arrival on the island, which coincided with Easter Sunday in 1722, led to its modern name. Roggeveen, commanding a fleet of 3 ships, the Arend, Tienhoven, and Afrikansche Galie, was the first to document the mysterious moai statues and the island's sparse vegetation. The statues, massive and imposing, puzzled Roggeveen and his crew, who wondered about the methods the islanders used to transport these colossal figures, given the apparent lack of sufficient timber or robust ropes. The name Easter Island reflects a common practice of the time, naming newly discovered lands based on significant events or days, which also expanded European maps of the Pacific and fueled further exploration and eventual colonization of these remote areas. Easter Island's discovery not only marked a major geographical milestone, but also piqued European interest in the Pacific Islands. Easter Island's extreme remoteness is one of its most fascinating aspects. Located in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, it is one of the most isolated inhabited islands on Earth. The original settlers, the Polynesians, were skilled navigators who likely arrived around 1200 CE. This isolation had a profound effect on the island's ecology and culture. Initially rich in flora, human settlement led to significant deforestation, altering the island's ecological balance. Over centuries, the isolation shaped a unique cultural evolution, marked by distinct architectural and artistic achievements, including the creation of the moai. These statues were not merely artistic expressions, but were integral to the social and religious life on the island, embodying ancestors and serving as protectors of the communities. Moreover, the island's location made it an ideal place for astronomical observations. The Rapa Nui, like other Polynesians, were adept at celestial navigation. using the stars to guide their way across vast oceanic distances. This skill underscores the significant navigational capabilities required to reach such a remote destination and maintain a society there. A comparison that highlights the extent of Easter Island's isolation involves Tristan da Cunha in the South Atlantic Ocean. Like Easter Island, Tristan da Cunha is extremely remote, located over 2,400 kilometers from the nearest continent, Africa. However, Easter Island's isolation is even more pronounced, with its closest inhabited neighbor, Pitcairn Island, over 2,000 kilometers away, and the nearest continental point in Chile nearly double that distance. This comparison not only emphasizes the vast distances involved, but also the remarkable navigational skills that allowed the Polynesians to settle and thrive on Easter Island, profoundly shaping its unique cultural and ecological development through centuries. The moai statues of Easter Island are not only a testament to the island's rich cultural heritage, but also stand as some of the most iconic archaeological features in the world. These statues were primarily carved from volcanic tuff, a type of compressed volcanic ash sourced from Rano Raraku, a volcanic crater which doubled as a quarry. This material, though softer and easier to carve, required delicate handling to avoid damage. The native carvers used tools made from a harder type of rock, basalt, known locally as toki, to shape these magnificent figures. The diversity in size and design of the nearly 900 moai is striking. They range from modest figures about 1 meter tall to towering giants that reach up to 10 meters and weigh over 80 tons. Some of the unfinished statues at the quarry suggest that the moai could have reached even greater sizes, with the largest estimated to be about 21 meters tall. These statues were not just isolated pieces of art, but were typically mounted on stone platforms called ahu, which lined the island's coastline. Far from mere pedestals, these ahu were sacred sites, often embedded with burial chambers for the elite, and were central to the spiritual and communal life of the Rapa Nui people. Interestingly, not all moai face inland. While the majority do, overseeing the villages and supposedly watching over their inhabitants, some face the ocean. This orientation may have had different symbolic or practical purposes, such as marking territorial boundaries or serving as navigational aids. The most spiritually significant aspect of the moai was their eyes, made from coral with either obsidian or red scoria pupils, inserted only during special ceremonies to imbue the statues with mana, a spiritual force believed to protect and benefit the community. These imposing figures represented the deified ancestors of the Rapa Nui, believed to provide spiritual strength and maintain a connection with the spirit world. More than mere representations, the moai were considered actual embodiments of these ancestors, imbued with a potent presence. The construction and erection of these statues likely served a competitive function among the island's various tribal groups, with leaders, known as ariki, sponsoring these statues to establish and legitimize their authority and to demonstrate their ability to mobilize community resources. Moreover, the moai played a significant role in unifying the island's population, with shared religious beliefs and communal participation in their construction and transport reinforcing social cohesion and cultural identity. It is enlightening to compare these statues to the colossal heads sculpted by the Olmec civilization in Mesoamerica. Like the moai, the Olmec heads were massive stone sculptures representing human faces, carved between 900 BCE and 400 BCE. These heads are believed to portray rulers or other significant figures, fulfilling roles of political or religious symbolism similar to those of the moai. Despite being created by cultures separated by thousands of kilometers and many centuries, both the moai and the Olmec heads underscore the universal use of monumental statuary to express power, authority, and religious significance across disparate human societies. This comparison highlights the remarkable ways in which different cultures have utilized monumental sculpture to convey and preserve their legacies. The moai statues of Easter Island are not only a testament to the island's past civilizations, but also a window into the impressive capabilities and daunting challenges faced by the Rapa Nui people. These iconic statues were meticulously carved from volcanic tuff, a material sourced from the Rano Raraku quarry. Artisans used basalt stone tools to carefully outline and then gradually detach the moai from the rock face, a painstaking process that could span months or even years depending on the statue's size. Transporting these colossal figures to their final resting places on the island's Ahu was an engineering feat that continues to fascinate historians and archaeologists today. Several theories have been proposed about how the Rapa Nui might have moved the moai. One theory suggests the use of wooden rollers, which would have required significant deforestation. Another posits that the statues were placed on sledges that slid over logs or greased wooden tracks. However, perhaps the most captivating theory is that the statues were walked to their locations using ropes in a rocking motion, a method supported by recent experimental archaeology. These experiments have successfully demonstrated that a replica moai could be moved by a few dozen people using ropes, providing evidence that this could explain the minimal wear on the bases of transported statues and the absence of extensive drag marks. As the demand for larger and more statues grew, the environmental impact became increasingly severe. The extensive use of wood for transport methods contributed to deforestation, exacerbating soil erosion and reducing the island's capacity to build canoes, essential for fishing and transportation. This environmental strain, coupled with intense social demands to build and transport these massive figures, likely put considerable stress on the social fabric of the island, intensifying competition among clans and leading to conflicts and warfare. The situation worsened with the arrival of Europeans in the 18th century, who brought with them diseases to which the Rapa Nui had no immunity. This, along with the removal of some moai by European explorers and colonists, severely impacted the island's demographic and cultural landscape. Amidst these challenges, an interesting theory emerged suggesting that the construction of the moai was a form of ecological overreach. This theory posits that the competitive construction of ever larger statues led to unsustainable practices, such as the overharvesting of essential natural resources. This ecological overreach may have triggered a vicious cycle of environmental degradation, resource shortages, social upheaval, and population decline, serving as a stark reminder of the potential consequences when cultural ambitions clash with environmental limits. This narrative underscores the delicate balance between cultural achievements and ecological sustainability, a balance that, once lost, can lead to the decline of an entire civilization. If you found today's exploration intriguing, prepare to be captivated by our next adventure, where we dive deep into the mysteries of ancient Egypt and a pharaoh who ruled for 16,000 years.
Thoth talks in the Emerald Tablets about being able to go into these halls of Amenti where he had rejuvenation chambers, which is what I believe is the Serapeum in Saqqara. And he would go into these gigantic stone boxes, and he would then transfer his consciousness from his body into another body. And he would leave the body that he left inside of one of those gigantic boxes, one of those gigantic diorite stone boxes for 100 years while it recharged itself and rejuvenated, while he said he walks amongst men but unlike a man. And he would do this for eons. He would transfer from body to body, not bodies he stole, bodies he created, that he created himself through probably some of the advanced form of stem cell technology. And he would walk amongst men but unlike a man, and he was known all around the planet. And it's an incredible tablet that talks about the reigns of kings. Yeah. Some kings ruled for 28,800 years, 14,000 years. I mean, 20,000. If the numbers are insane.
These are not Egyptian?
This is no, not Egyptian. These are Anunnaki